So what we're doing today is by far the most important concept of the year. Okay? So my 30-1s have to do this every day. My 20-1s have to do this every day. Okay? Now, is it going to be easy? No. That's why it's in the -1. Is it going to take a lot of work and practice? Yes. Could you do 100 and struggle on all 100? Yes. But I'll tell you with this, and I promise you that I have taught this enough, and I have done this when I was your age, well, actually a little bit younger. It clicks all of a sudden. It may be 100 of them are really tough, and then all of a sudden it will just click. So if it hasn't clicked for you yet, at some point you need to do more. Don't compare yourself to the person beside you if they got it. Okay? I probably had to do more than most people did in my class, but I got it. Some people never did it, and they never got it. And it restricted them from there on. Okay? Your -1 will not be possible without mastering this. Okay? Because this is the polynomial part that I really look at to see, do we have a -1 student? Okay? Because it shows more than just the understanding of math, but did they have the maturity, and yes, it's maturity, to put in the time and the work for themselves. Okay? So I'm only saying that for the reason that if you're struggling through these, it will get easier when that clicks. Okay? And if at first you're struggling, that's normal. The important thing is, I have come up with strategies to do these that work really well. It's up to you to use the strategies, because this is all about thinking and strategy. Okay? If you were playing a game, I would coach you on what to do, the strategy that you will win. Okay? And if you stick with that strategy, you'll be fine. If you don't stick with that strategy, like when I coach hockey, and I'm doing like novice Adam, okay? And here's your ice, right? Here's your center. Here's your goalie, right? There's the net back there. I tell all of my players, okay, this is our goalie. I need you to at all times keep it out of here. I never want to see the puck in there. I want everything going up the boards. We'll go in, I call this the danger zone, right here. This is the danger zone. The puck is never in the danger zone. Why do I never want the puck in the danger zone? That's where they can pick it up and score. Now, if we don't put it there, and we take it out of there as fast as we can, they will not score on us. Okay? And I've had players that do it well, and then I'll have players that will be here and they'll pass the puck across the danger zone, but it'll get picked up here and they'll go right and score us a goal. I'll go, you gave them that one. I said keep it out of the danger zone. It's just like giving them a gift, right? Exactly. I even say that. Merry Christmas. There's a Christmas present for them. You just gave that to them, right? So, but you wouldn't believe how that one strategy has made the teams that I've coached very successful. I've taken a team right to the championship because we had that one strategy and the other team didn't, right? But it's a simple little thing that once you get it, don't let it go in our danger zone. Work everything up the boards. Go up the boards, and then let's get into their zone and we'll score. But it's a simple thing that, all players can do it. I'm not asking them to be pro athletes. Right? I'm not asking them to be, Wayne Gretzky's and Crosby's and stuff. I just want you to keep it out of the danger zone, right? So as I go through these, I'm going to give you strategies that I promise you work. But not only do they work, they'll increase your ability to be able to do higher level questions if you learn how to do these. Okay? So hopefully you trust me enough to be able to do this, and will help you be successful. So we're actually going to be doing opposite to what we did the last couple days. We are going completely opposite. So what am I trying to say? Okay, well, we had x plus 2 times x plus 3. So that would be x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. That's x squared plus 5x plus 6. We've done that, correct? Now, I'm going to give you this. I need you to come up with the question. So we got to come up with x plus 2 times x plus 3. Okay? That is an awesome skill to know. And you know, in my 30-1, I don't know a day that hasn't come up, or they have to factor. That is called factoring. Okay? That is taking this polynomial and splitting it up into its factors. Okay? Now, let's just look at this one. What is this? Okay, putting up your hand, tell me what this is in variables and numbers. Yes? Okay. Now, and I don't know if you've done this or not, but the goal when you're given algebra tiles like this is to make a rectangle. And there's algebra tile etiquette. You've heard of golf etiquette. Any of you ever golfed, right? There's a lot of etiquette that has to go on a golf course, or you get yelled at by the marshal. Okay? I've been yelled at by the marshal a few times. Okay? Especially when you have little kids, right? They're always doing something and you're not watching it. The marshal comes and he reams you out for it. So what happened here was this was made into a rectangle. Now the etiquette is you have to use all your x squareds first. Then along the sides of each, you use all your x's. Then with all of your ones, you put them in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay? That's your etiquette. And what is the dimension up here? X plus 2. And what is the side dimension? X plus 4. Okay? Therefore, x squared plus 6x plus 8 equals x plus 2 times x plus 4. Now there's something I want you to see, because I want to get you off algebra tiles today. Okay? It's like you're on crack or something. I got to get you off today. Okay? I'm going to do an intervention and we're going to get you off. Okay? I'm not saying algebra tiles are like crack, but yeah, I am, unfortunately. Yeah, there's another thing I'm going to get crap for. Yes? No, because they're all dark. Yeah, that's true, but it shouldn't be. Okay? Yeah, good point. But, okay? Now, what can you tell me about how do 2 and 4, these two numbers, how do they relate to the numbers here? I want you to see if you can see something. You stretching, Connor? Is that it's a little of both? While you're up there, might as well get her stretched out. What's going on? Okay. 2 times 4 is 8. And there's one more thing I need you to see. 2 plus 4 is 6. These two numbers will always add to be this one and multiply to be this one. Okay? If you can go up to the top, what do you see about 2 and 3? Do they add to be the middle term? Do they multiply to be the last term? You know when that will happen? Always. Okay? Now we're just dealing with when x is a 1 right now. There's a 1 in front of x. Okay? It's a whole other thing that we got to do. So, this is what we're going to start doing, is we're going to start using that thinking to help us come up with our factors. Okay? We're going to be logical about this. Now, I know if I did 10 million of these with you, someone after a while would go, you know what I'm seeing? Those two numbers add to the middle one and then multiply to be the last one every single time. Okay? And that's the thinking we're going to use. Yep. It is a law. Yep. Yeah. But getting these two numbers is not as easy as it sounds sometimes. But if we have a few strategies, it makes it very much easier. Okay? So tell me what this polynomial is first. Let's write it down. Someone say something. What is it? X squared plus 4x plus 4. Oh, I do not like this one. I hate 4s. Because when you add 2's, you get 4, and when you multiply 2's, you get 4, so a rule doesn't come out. Okay? Well, anyway, we'll use this one. Now, here's the strategy that we're always going to do. Okay, so we have all this room down here. Let's use it. X squared plus 4x plus 4. So this is how I do them even to this day as a math teacher, okay? Because it really helps me set up my problem. I will go, what plus what equals 4. That's this 4. Okay, I'm going to put a 1 there so you know what 4 I'm talking about. That's why 4 is not a good one to deal with. But and then what times what equals the second 4. That's a little 2 there, okay? That's my second 4. Okay, the point of it is to get some rules, okay? So just listen at this point, okay? Now, step 1. We look here. What are the possible signs of the two numbers? And what do I mean by that? Negative or... So we can have two negatives, two positives, a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. Now remember, these are easy. This is an easy one. So bear with me, because when we get to harder ones, if you have this strategy, you'll get it. Now, what has to be the signs of those two numbers? Okay, don't yell it out. I want you to put up your hand and tell me why. And all we're looking is here right now. I do not want you looking at the other one. What are those? Because there's two possibilities, and I hope you're going to give me two. Raven, what are they? Okay, so does everybody agree it's either two negatives or two positives? Correct? Now, with those two options, we go up. And that tells us what it is for sure. Would it be two negatives or two positives? Why can't it be two negatives? Would two negatives ever equal a positive number if you added them? Never. So that is how we first find our signs. So step 1 is what are the possible signs of the two numbers there, and you'll get two options all the time. Then step 2 of those two choices, try in addition step to narrow down to one choice. Okay, so this is a barrier that students used to have. So we got rid of that barrier right away, is first establish the signs. Okay, step 3 is find numbers that multiply to 4. Okay? So we're going to put the number 4. Sometimes they have now the nice thing is there is not infinite amount. There's an infinite amount of things that add to 4. There's billions and billions and billions of numbers that add to 4. I can give you 2 numbers, I can give you billions of them that add to 4. There's only very few that multiply to 4. And we have to already know our signs are both positive. So we're only going to do 2 positive numbers. Okay? Give me one scenario. Okay, give me the most basic one first. 1 times 4. Then we add them quick. What's 1 plus 4? So you can see 1 and 4, not my factors. What's another possibility? 2 times 2. We add them. Does that equal? So we found my numbers. Then all you do is you take these 2 numbers and write x plus 2 times x plus 2. So step 3 was find numbers that multiply to 4, and step 4, which of those adds to 4? There'll only be one of them. So you pick your signs, pick your factors, which factors add to that number, and those will get them to you. Okay? These are really important. Use this strategy every time, and it won't fail. You have to practice it, though. You think those hockey players, when I first put them out, they were all perfect at keeping out of the danger zone? No. It took them like 5 or 6 games till they were perfect. And they had it in place by the time it was the playoffs, right? And we just never had it in there. They couldn't score any goals on us, right? Well, the same thing for you guys. It's not going to go perfect. You're going to struggle. There's going to be times you're going to get them wrong. But by the time we get to the unit exam, you won't be making those mistakes anymore. If you've done enough. If you haven't done enough, you will make those mistakes on the unit exam. Yes?
For simplification's sake, would you rather have like x plus 2 times x plus 2, or would you rather have x plus 2?
X plus 2 squared would even be nicer. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is, I just want to look at my next quiz and see how much I need you to be drawing stuff. Oh, good. I don't need you to be drawing stuff. Okay, so we're going to, you've got room down here. Okay, I want you to write example 1. So we're doing x squared plus 3x plus 2. Now, on the side, I write blank plus blank equals, what do I write? No, you guys, come on, look. 3. Remember, that was 1. That's 2. Then I write what in the next line? Equals 2. Okay. Raven, relax. Just chill out for a second. Okay. Now, what are my signs? We're going to do signs first. Now look at the second one. This is what we look at for our signs. What are my possibilities? Two negatives or two positives. Okay, so we do that first. Then we look, so we do this part first, and then we do B. Now we're going to look at which one works there. The two positives. So we write down positive, positive on those. Okay, now my factors of 2 are, that's my only option. Does that work? So what is my final answer? Okay. When you add these two numbers together, do you get the middle term? When you multiply these two numbers together, do you get the last term? Yep. Okay, example 2. X squared plus 3x minus 4. Okay, now let's see if anyone's picking up what I should do next. Who can tell me what to do next? What to write down? Prashant? Okay, so this is the middle always. Negative 4, yes. This is last always. This is stuff you want on a study sheet. And it's always what adds to the middle, multiplies to the last, right? Consistency, let's do it the same every time. Next, signs. What are my possibilities? Yes. Do you agree? Because we're looking here. Does it have to be a negative times a positive and a positive times a negative? Can it be two negatives? Two positives? Impossible. Now out of this, we're going to be looking for the signs. Out of these two, which one must it be? Now, this is a positive 3, correct? So who wins out of the Cowboys? The positive cowboy has 3 bullets. Why would you say the negative cowboy? See, do you guys understand how when you add two numbers, the winner will be what comes out of that? The winner is the positive cowboy, correct? By 3 bullets. Therefore, when you have a negative positive or a positive negative, the winner will always go first. It's going to be a positive negative and a positive negative. So I know that the positive cowboy has more bullets, guaranteed. Why do I know that? Because it's a positive 3. And students that miss this, they mix those up all the time. And I go, why do you have the negative cowboy winning? Right? It's a positive 3. Okay? So it is going to be plus minus because the positive cowboy wins. Because it's plus 3. Do you see how important it is to find the signs first? Now, what are all my numbers that multiply to 4? The first one's got to be positive, or negative 4. The first one's got to be positive, the second one negative. Yep. Okay, what's another option? Negative 4. The only one. What's my other option? Positive 2 times negative 2. I got them all. Now, which one of those would equal positive 3 if I added them? So my number's positive 4, negative 1. What is my answer? X plus 4, x minus 1. The amount of strategy that has to go on per question, some of you guys don't even realize at this point until you're going to be on your own working on these. And you're going to come up to me and you're going to say, you're going to have what times what equals 3 and what plus what equals negative 4. I'm like, where did you get that strategy from? I said the two numbers that add to the middle, not multiply to the middle. So if you mess up strategy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 go out the window. Okay, so the discipline is high on these. Yes? Okay. Next example. X squared plus 4x plus 3. What am I writing down? Okay, so you're going to do this every single time. You come up to me, Mr. Trimble, I'm not getting the right answer. I'm going to go, that's missing. Go back and do that part. Okay? You want to skip steps here, you will jeopardize yourself so much that you're going to frustrate yourself, and you've got two choices. You can either give up, or you're going to keep spinning your wheels. Okay? What are the signs? 2 negatives or 2 positives. So we look at the first one and then the second signs. Which one of those has to be it? 2 positives. Why? Because it has to equal a positive 4. So 2 negatives cannot equal a positive 4. And my students that still don't know their signs, this is where they're going to struggle. And yes, do I have students in grade 10 that still do not know that negative times a positive is a negative? Okay? Yes? It's a positive 3. In fact, I can be very deliberate and I'll put positives all the time from now on. Okay? Now that I know my 2 numbers, I'm going to do all the factors of 4. What's one of them? And they got to be 2 positives. Give me 2 factors. 1 and 4, positive, and another one. 2 and 2. Oh, sorry. Yeah, never mind. Hopefully you're screwed up right now. I should be doing the factors of 3. What are they? I was just seeing if you guys are paying attention. Obviously you weren't. What else? Oh, I should have put my positives here, sorry. No, because I've already said they have to be 2 positives. Yeah, so we do signs first. Okay? So 1 and 3. 1 and 3. What is my answer? X plus 1, x plus 3. Double check. Do these 2 numbers add to be my middle term? Do they multiply to be my last term? Then I have done it correctly. Okay? Let's do a little bit more challenging ones. Okay, so here we have it. X squared plus 6x plus 8. Okay? So, what do I write down first? Hopefully we're getting in the habits. I'm going to start just choosing people to help me out. Shauna, what should I write down? Positive 6. So you don't even have to put your equal sign anymore. You can just put positive 6 there. And what's the other one? And I'm going to put a positive 8, so I am deliberate about thinking about signs. Okay, so we just look at this one for the signs. Okay? So what are my only possibilities? Kane, what are they? Negative and a negative. Positive, positive. Then I look at my signs again for this one, and I'm only, see, we had 4 to pick from before. Now we only have 2 to pick from. Which one of those possibilities has to be it? Positive, positive. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There will not be another option. Okay? And if this doesn't work, this is not factorable. Like, if that was, well, you'll see that this would be, they're always going to work. You'll always be able to find those signs. Now, we have to do all of our factors of 8. Okay? Start off with the easiest one would be 1 and 8. The other, another one? 2 and 4. 4 and 2 doesn't matter, right? Because they're both positive. So those are all the factors of 8. Are we missing any? No. So now, which 2 of those add to give me 6? Okay, 2 and 4. So what's my final answer? X plus 2, x plus 4. Now, of course, x plus 4 times x plus 2 is the same answer, right? Okay, we have done the 4s. You know how I feel about them. So let's move to the next page. Okay, I'm giving you 1 minute to struggle through this one, maybe not struggle through it. And then I'm going to be asking separate people for help. So for the first step, I'll ask this person. Next step. Got it done already? Yeah, just, I'm going to spread it around. We want everybody to play along. I don't want anybody to feel safe. When you're done, check that those 2 add to give you the middle term, multiply to give you the last term. You know you got it right. Okay. Morgan, what did you do first? Okay. Next. Sarah, what did you do next? What are my possibilities? Okay, and then by looking at this one, Sarah, which did you pick? Positive, positive. Okay, so take the time to put them in because you took the time to find them. Okay, Braden, what should I do next? Okay, so give me, okay, give me another one. Oops, just a sec. Yeah, and another one? Did you miss any? Okay? Now, since you did, Blaine, which one of these would work if you added them? Okay, so my final answer, Anissa? Nice. Okay? Now, one thing you have to understand about all of these is all of these have a 1 in front, so they're called simple trinomials. So when it's 1x squared, that's a simple trinomial. Okay, we'll do complex trinomials later, but it is important, obviously, to learn how to walk, and then we'll get into running later. Okay, go again. B. Okay, so just maybe while a couple of you are finishing up, I'm going to get going here. Okay, Samantha, what should I do first? Okay, I'm going to put a positive there just to be deliberate. Okay, Cole, what do I do next? Okay, so what are my possibilities? Okay, a negative and a positive, or? Okay. Now, why are those considered different? Because some people go, that's the same thing. But what are we being deliberate about? Yes? Okay, so we're being deliberate about this one because who has to win? Shana. I agree with you. Yes. Because are these a possibility for this? No, they're not. Right? It's got to be either two negatives or two positives. See, and if students are doing this step and they come up, I can tell you exactly where you went wrong. Okay? It's like, you know, when they were first putting computers in cars, my grandma had a car that she would be just driving and it would stop. And you couldn't start it, you'd wait 15, 20 minutes sometimes it would start. Sometimes you'd wait 3 hours it would start. And they would take it and hook it up to the computer. Computer would tell them nothing. Like that little diagnostic thing. Would tell them nothing. Right? So you're like, so what do I do? Like, and they're like, yeah, we couldn't find anything. Oh, okay, good. I guess nothing's wrong. Right? And then it would keep doing it to her. And until computers in cars actually they got them smart enough that now when you hook it up, they give a code almost all the time. Okay? Still doesn't do it all the time. But that is so frustrating when you're on the side of the road for the third time. Like, what do? Do you take it in again? Just so they tell you there's nothing wrong with it? Right? And the same thing is, I need to build, that's what it's called. It's diagnosing. They call it diagnosing, right? And if I can see your work, I can diagnose what's wrong. If you just have an answer, x minus 9, x plus 3, I'd be like, wow, how would you get that? Where'd you come up with those numbers? Like, oh, I just did what you told me to do. Well, I don't see anything though. Okay? So now we can see, now then we look here, out of these two, what does it have to be? Two negatives. Do you see there is no other possibilities? It's a guarantee. So I'm going to write those in there. And I'll tell you, this step takes half the confusion out of the whole question. When I was first teaching these many years ago, that's where I saw students were struggling the most. So I said, let's do that as a step first. Now, Habibo, what would I do next? The things, the factors of 12, what are they? Okay, what else? Well, actually, for us, we're going to do that, right? Because we know they're two negatives, correct? Okay, what else? What else? Okay. Now, obviously, when you start getting better at these, you're not going to write out 20 of them when you know the one it is. Habibo knew she told me that, coincidentally, the right one right away. I don't know. But, right? I know -1 and -12. That's not going to work. Like, why am I, right? So you're not going to be writing those all down, but as you're starting, right? So which one of these work? This one. So, my final answer, Brianna, would be what? Okay. Let's go again. Let's go a little bit quicker. See how fast you can get at these. I'll tell you, if you do enough of these, your brain will actually hurt. I'm not even kidding you. You'll actually feel just like you were working out in the gym, except the great thing is it's not sore and stiff the next day. But I'll tell you, this actually creates neural pathways, and that's what's happening. You will actually get a bit of a headache if you do enough of these, because there's things going on up there you're taking for granted, but you got to think on so many different levels. Okay, you got to think, what do things add? What do things multiply? What are my signs? What are my factors? Put them in there. Do those factors add? Okay, tons of stuff going on. And that is why I absolutely love these, right? So doing them will change you. You won't walk into these just knowing them. And that's going to tell you which way you're going to go in math next year. Have you developed those pathways? Even knowing your times table, that develops huge pathways. If you don't develop those, it really, like, how are you going to do this? I'm going to be asking you for things that multiply to -26. You're like, I don't know my times tables. I don't know what a negative times a negative is. Right? So your problem isn't polynomials. Your problem's your multiplication tables. Or you don't know how your signs work yet. Okay? Very easy for me to diagnose. And you have two possibilities. Are you going to sit down and learn those? If the answer is you're just like, I won't. Okay? Well, then you get to decide. You've already made a decision where you're going now in math. Like, if I would have made that decision when I was learning that, not to learn these, I would never have been able to take the courses that I took after it. I guarantee you I would not be standing here now unless I later said I will finally learn them. Okay? So you will do yourself a gigantic disservice if you don't put in the time. Okay. Zach, start us off. What'd you do?
For C,
Yep.
I started off with what plus what is -11 and what times what is -6.
Okay. Carmen, what were your signs? Okay. And then after you looked at the second one, which one did you decide on? Negative, positive. Why? Because the negative wins the battle. How do I know it wins the battle? There's a negative answer out there. That's how I know. It won the gunfight. It has 11, the negative cowboy has 11 bullets. The negative cowboy won. Okay. Now, what would I do next? Who haven't I picked on yet? I got Blaine, I got Andrew, or Alex. Sorry, I haven't picked on Alex. Negative 26. Okay. What else, though, are there? Yeah, do the most obvious one all the time. Negative 26 and 1. Sometimes it is that one, right? Okay, so I can tell which way you went. You did the negative 13 and the 2. Final answer, x minus 13, x plus 2. What's up, Zach?
Does it matter what order the negative and positives are in as long as?
Yes, it does. I always want the winner to be first. Okay? Trust me, when we get into harder ones, you'll thank me. We're always going to put the winner first.
When I did that, I ended up having +2
So you put the winner second. But if we could be consistent and do this every time, remember, I need you to get 100 in this class, right? So I need to breed that consistency. Shana. But if you put negative 2 and 13, the answer to that is positive 11. That's why it's important to me. Yes?
If you have n plus 2, or yeah, n plus 2 and times.
Oh, sorry, sorry. The-
Incorrect.
These are supposed to be n's, not x's. I do that all the time, and so will you. Okay?
So the order doesn't really matter, it just
No, the order does really matter, because I will get half of my class putting negative 2 and positive 13. Or sorry, no, they'll put negative 2, yeah, negative 2 and positive 13. And I'll be like, why don't you put the winner first? And they're like, I did put the winner first. No, negative 2 is not going to beat positive 13. Right? So, okay, now, some different things are going on in these questions. What do you see first that is not right to what we learned? Connor? Right. Now, we're going to be doing complex trinomials later, and what I'm going to teach you today, you will forget. And you will not do what I showed you today. Okay? Guaranteed. If it doesn't happen, first time in my career that students haven't done this. Because, you know, there's kind of a saying that, you know, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. When you're a surgeon, the first thing you think is surgery, right? Well, when you do complex trinomial after complex trinomial, just another one comes and you're thinking that's a complex trinomial. But these are not complex trinomials because, and I'm just talking about D and E right now, always, 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 always try and take out a GCF first and turn it, maybe it'll turn into a simple. Now, is there a number I can take out of all of them? Raven, I'm getting a sense that you know it. What would it be? Huh? 5. If I take a 5 out of everybody, what am I left with inside my brackets? A simple trinomial. Correct? Now, this is how you should be getting for speed. Okay, what plus what is negative 7? What times what is positive 12? Okay, it's either two positives or two negatives. I guarantee you, it's two negatives, right? Okay, my factors are negative 12, negative 1, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 6. Okay, this is the only one that adds to negative 7. So it's negative 4, negative 3, negative 4, negative 3. Yes? Okay, well, I'm getting there. So this is what we do. We go 5 times x minus 4, x minus 3. If I throw that 5 away, would I get my question back after I FOILed it? If I throw that 5 away, so I don't put this, will that give me the answer? No. I would get the simple trinomial in the brackets, wouldn't I? So do not forget the 5. It's kind of important. Yes? Well, like if you were doing 5 times 2 times 3, I mean, you could do this if you wanted, right? Oops. No, it doesn't matter, and so we're just always going to put just the 5 in front, because it still means multiplying, and you only multiply to the first. Okay? So I want you to try E all by yourself. And the other thing that obviously changes with these, with the more practice, is the speed. Speed and accuracy, right? And that comes, right? The worst thing whenever I teach a skill in any sport that I coach is I do not make them do it fast, because then they start getting sloppy, they start cheating, they start cutting corners, and then it's almost as useless as if we didn't do it, right? So don't worry about your speed, right? When you get better, it'll just happen. Okay, first thing, Selena, what would you do? Okay, so factor out of 3. What's left inside? Okay. I'm going to start, because I think I got pretty well everybody. Okay, Prashant, what would I do next? Okay. Adrian, what are my possibilities for signs? That's okay, but you can just look at negative 12. What are my possibilities for signs? No, not the numbers. What would the signs be?
Oh.
Okay. Now, by looking, so we look here, then we look here, who has to be the winner? So it's a negative positive is what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay, Shana, what are my possibilities? Yeah, for negative 12. Okay, no. We always want, let's always put the winner first, okay? Because I know that it would have to be this, correct? So I always want to put the winner first, okay? What's another one? Okay? So I'm not even going to do positive 3 or negative 3 times 4. Like negative 3 times 4 does equal 12, negative 12. But I'm always going to be thinking I want the bigger one first because he's the winner. Okay? She's the winner, whatever. Okay? So which one of these am I picking? Negative 6 and 2. So my final answer, Connor, would be what?
3x minus 6.
Okay. Now, later, you'll forget to take the GCF out. You'll see, oh, there's a number in front of the x complex trinomial. Boom, I'm going to do it this way. Because we do a little bit different for complex trinomials. A little bit. Okay? But if you go there, you're going to be into a world of hurt. They're hard. They take forever because you didn't take out a GCF. I don't care what level I teach. Happens all the way up. And I say right on the top of your study sheet, remember to take out a GCF first if you can. Okay? People will have that on the top of their study sheet. They'll be like glowing at them, right? There'll be little lights around it, and they'll still ignore it. Okay? So, and look how many times I've said it, still will happen. Okay? Now, why won't it happen on tomorrow's quiz? You know why? Because you haven't learned complex trinomials, so you'll take the GCF out. That's all you know how to do right now. Sometimes the more you know, now the more work you have to do to keep it straight. Okay? Now, this one here, what's weird about this one? Yes? Yeah, there's the extra variable. Okay? And these, don't panic. Do them like you normally do, and then we'll make it fit, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so if we just kind of ignored that y squared right now, what would I do normally? Who can help me do this whole question? Let's see if someone can. Yeah, help me out. I'm going to write exactly what you say.
What plus what equals -4, and what times what is positive 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then do the signs first. So to multiply positive 4, you can do positive, positive, or negative, negative.
Mm-hmm.
But since you have a -4 in the addition, you do negative, negative. And then you find the factors of positive 4, which are 1 and 4, or 2.
Okay, -1, -4.
Or -2 and -2.
Hold on. Okay.
-2 and -2 add to -4.
Okay. So now, what would I typically write? I know you know the right answer, so I'm forcing you to give me the wrong answer right now, but what typically would we write? Okay. Now, what is wrong with this? Would these two give me the last term if I multiplied them? What would? If I put y's here, and that's all you have to do to make sure you get 4y squared, and it'll work for the other middle one too. So typically you want to just make sure that you get it in there after, and then it's not like you've got to learn a whole new system, okay? There's a more complicated way I could show you, but it's more complicated, okay? Hence the name, the more complicated way. No. No, it actually will unlearn some of you. Okay. Okay? So here's what we're working on. Okay, so like I've been trying to tell you, there is no way you could do enough of these, but please do not stray off of the strategies. They will not seem like so many steps later,